Hello.
Hello.
Morning.
Morning.
Or good evening, good afternoon.
Hello.
We got people from all over. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm looking for a setting here to make sure that it doesn't start everybody with video on. I can't find it right now, just in case. Just to let you guys know, I am recording this. I feel it might be beneficial. We'll see. If that's panic inducing for you, then feel free to like turn off the video or whatever. And it might be beneficial. We'll see. Let me see. How's everybody doing?
Doing okay. Hanging in there, I guess.
Yeah.
Hello.
I think I found the setting.
You have no idea how many people will turn out, right?
I do not. I mean, it's been sent out to like 1,800 INFPs, so so maybe we'll get like 10.
Yeah. Nice.
Let's see. I'm gonna send to Discord right now just to make sure.
Have you done these before?
So we did 2 of them from the Discord channel.
Cool.
Just anybody that was in Discord, and nobody showed up to the second one, which was okay.
I
was there for the first one.
Nice.
Yes, you were. Yeah. So the second one, it was just me kind of like waiting, like,
Oh no.
I'll just be productive, and it was okay. Yeah.
Cool.
It's
So
kind
bad
of
about that.
late notice. I guess. The first one had, I think, about the same amount of people as we got right now. Oh, I gotta remember to actively admit people when they join. Yeah, but it's something I want to try to do more of. I thought about doing it just on YouTube, just going live on YouTube, but there are a lot of trolls and stuff, and necessarily want to deal with that. And I like the idea of like having this kind of closer community for INFPs, and we can just like talk about INFP stuff, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
Just at the thought that once you record it, they'll all attend they'll just watch the recording. They won't attend the live one probably.
That would be
That's what I do with YouTube.
standard procedure for INFP, right? Oh, there's a recording live thing. I'll just do the recording.
Yeah.
You have a very interesting, you have a very interesting marketing problem, right?
Yeah, I've been told that for years, actually. Like one with the whole like gamer perspective on personality type. They're like, are you sure people would, be interested in that and pay for that and like be involved in that? I was like, I don't know. And then switched to, kind of focusing more on INFPs and even personality hacker. Like I had a little meeting with them. I don't know if you guys know, but they were like, you picked the hard market. And I was like, yeah, I know, but I gotta do it.
Yeah. That seems like a good intersection for your own life, right? I mean, as a gamer, I assume, and as a person involved in personality, why not merge those things, right? See what happens. It's cool.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, it helped me when I was trying to figure out myself and my stuff, my issues. And I was like, well, I just got to share this in some way. I started making like some blog posts, and somebody commented like, oh, it helped. So I was like, well, can't stop there. I gotta keep going. Yeah.
Totally. This is rad. Look at all these beautiful INFPs in here.
I know. That's great. All muted, but good. That's good. No, I know we can't all talk at the same time, but yeah, like feel free, guys. If you got kind of the format I was thinking with this is just general vibing and talking, but also like if there was something you did and you just you want to do a little brag about it, I think that's awesome. Like this is I woke up at 6:30 today and did something productive or whatever it is, or kind of changed my mindset a little bit. I think that's awesome. As well as like maybe if there's something that you're struggling with, because as I mentioned in the email, like we have similar experiences or similar viewpoints, but they're not all the same. So support. Or we can just stare at each other for a while.
I'll kick it off. I mean, I had an interesting morning. I dabble in music and writing music and things like that. That's my passion and something I'm trying to grow. Yeah, weird electronic stuff, that kind of thing. And but I had somebody that I know reach out and ask me to do a mix for a video, and I was like, I'm in this position where I'm trying to just say yes and move forward with that and see what comes of it. And got the files for the project, and they're not all in the right place, and there's all these problems, and I'm like starting to second guess myself. But I don't know. There was something really exciting about it. It kind of propelled me into this new space where I'm uncomfortable, and that discomfort is kind of creating some forward movement for me, which is good. It's very different than how I felt in the recent past. So I'm in this like deep imposter syndrome moment where I'm just like, I can't do this. And then at the same time, I'm like, no, I can do it. Like I've got the ears, I've got the tools. Like it might take me a little longer than I originally expected, but it's going to happen. And so, I don't know, that's kind of exciting and terrifying at the same time.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that feeling of exciting and terrifying, I think is the sign that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Like when I talk to people with like coaching and stuff, I'm like, what's the next step? And it's got to be like, oh, I don't want to do this, but I know I got to do it. Like that's how you know. If it's just easy, then it's just like, well, it's not really going to stretch you outside your comfort zone, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
And you will figure out that you can adapt more and you can acclimate to like that chaos and stuff, or like I got these pieces over here and over here. How do I balance that stuff? Like you know that you've done it before in different aspects of your life. This is just kind of like possibly a new approach to it, or a new venue for it. So
Totally.
it's really cool. You gotta share it. Send me a
Yeah.
message or something like that when it's all done, and I'll push it out to the mailing list and stuff and see what happens.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Does everybody else play music here or have some interest in music?
I wish.
No. I see.
I wish I could.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a scientist by training. I'm a neuroscience researcher, but I've been a percussionist for about 15 years now. And I actually recently rented a full-size marimba, if you see that in my room now. So it's the one thing I got to kind of occupy myself during the pandemic quarantine situation. So that's been pretty fun.
Very cool.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. I've never played that. I'm like horrible with music. I have a sanshin over there, which is like an Okinawan. It's like a 3-string guitar, I guess. But I'm awful at it. I don't know. Practice, I suppose, but I just haven't put the time into it. That's cool. Trying to get my daughter into percussion.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's cool.
I mean, she's only 3, but
okay. Well, never too young to start, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I feel so safe here, as in like, so when I meet INFP, which I only have like one INFP friend, I can tell them all kinds of like dream career they want to have, like musician, composer, or like artist. instead of like I want to become a corporate slave, something like that. So yes, nice to meet everybody here. It's the first time I meet like more than 10 INFP at the same time. My name's George. I'm now in grad school. It's my final year, so I decided to I relocated from New York City to San Francisco to complete the final year, and which is all about job search, finding a job that is grinding your soul, and like talking to people in their adult business language that I hate. Well, I do enjoy being in school, but I don't really don't want to have a corporate job. So I feel like here I can just complain about those stuff that I don't like, while like meeting people, as in like everyone knows that in INFP, the chance of becoming an artist or like musician is the highest, I guess. I have to be here.
If you don't mind me asking, what are you studying in grad school?
I'm doing organizational psychology. Basically, it means like how to turn people into happy slave working for a corporate.
Oh.
So one of the mission would probably to make people happy while they are in the office doing stuff they don't like.
Okay.
I study psychology in my undergrad as well. I love it, but sometimes I feel like I kind of resist analyzing my own life using psychological framework or theory, because I feel like I don't want to know myself too much to see, for example, I don't know. Let me try to arrange my language. So I like psychology because like I love to know about people behaviors, their mind, what they thought, how they feel. But at the same time, I feel like in real life, I don't want to constantly interact with people, if you know what I mean. Like I want to meet and talk to people that I identify with or like I find interesting. For example, like virtual happy hour is definitely not my thing. Big networking event is not my thing, even though there are so many people. Right. So I'm from Hong Kong, but I went to New York for school. And probably one of the reasons I went to New York is because like there are so many kinds of people. So even though I don't like some of them, there are gonna be some of them that I like. And I discovered Matt YouTube channel around like 2 years ago, watching all of those tips on how to survive as an INFP in a very extroverted world. So I really appreciate Matt's all efforts into doing those.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Yeah, putting on the happy face while doing the work that you kind of gotta do until I think until you can transition into doing something that you're more inspired by, let's say, I think is really cool. I'm trying to figure out little hacks and tricks for that, and helping other people get through that, because I think a lot of people do struggle with it, as well as, this isn't, if you guys got something to say, please say it too. But I was just thinking about like that whole push and pull between like analyzing yourself and analyzing other people, and knowing personality type to help you kind of, I guess, create a shortcut to finding the people that you want to talk to and stuff, and kind of understanding people faster. But then also like doing the work inside too. It's kind of hard. Like, I mean, myself as well. I'm working on my final test for hypnosis and stuff like that, and personality type, but doing it on myself feels a little bit different sometimes. You're like, it's easier if I just do it out there. Just keep it out there, but really going inside and working on yourself is definitely where all the big gains going.
Oh,
Just
can I
my
share?
thoughts. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So hi everyone. My name is Michelle. I'm a musician, and I kind of am in this weird space between like from the corporate job to like kind of my own personal career in music. So I've been working like in accounting for the past 5 years, but I kind of lost my job in the pandemic. And so my background with music is I'm a violinist, but I also started a video game orchestra. So I've been kind of doing that stuff for the past 15 years, kind of more on the side, but I think as the pandemic happened, I feel like that I had a lot of time to think, and I'm like, do I really want to work in a cubicle the rest of my life? And I'm like, no, and I want to do my own thing. So I thought this is the best time for me to like just take the plunge and just go for it. And so I like started doing like my own YouTube channels. I run like a podcast on how to teach people how to start a video game orchestra. But I also like do kind of my own like violin covers on Twitch. And I'm from my friends who have like been who are doing like full-time YouTubers. We talk about business strategies and business like there's a lot of stuff on YouTube on how you can monetize your like creative pursuits. Um, but I would say that I totally get it, like where you guys are coming from, the struggle between being a corporate slave and doing your passion. And I actually just talked about this yesterday. I was interviewed on this Facebook page called Unconventional Asians, and basically the show is all about interviewing people who are like kind of unconventional Asians outside the box. So it was really fun. So and that's definitely one of the things we talk about is like how do you be authentic and not have to like wear a mask all the time. Like when I was in the corporate office, I would get very like I think as an INFP, accounting, I heard it's probably one of the worst jobs you can do because it's very logical and it's team heavy and it's like really long hours. Doing something you're maybe not as naturally adapted to. But I got a lot of good business, I guess, knowledge from doing that. So I'm kind of on my journey to make that transition. So I guess if anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a question really, but sorry about that. But I was gonna say I think it's really fascinating that you started a video game orchestra. I actually didn't know that those were a thing until I went to college at the University of Maryland, and they had one.
Wait,
and
you went to University of Maryland?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I started the one there.
Oh, really? You did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I remember I saw it for the first time there, and I was like, wow, this is amazing that this is a thing that people do. Wow, what a coincidence, though. Are you
Yeah.
from Maryland?
Yeah, I'm from Maryland.
Nice. I'm from Howard County, but I live in Bethesda now for my job.
Oh, okay. I live close by, so
Oh, wow.
it's a small world.
Wow.
All thanks to Sherman.
So we could call you a rock star then?
That's super cool. Can you?
Resident INFP rock star. Yeah.
Yeah. What is a video game orchestra?
So we basically take the music from the soundtracks of video games, so like the background music that you hear when you're playing like Mario or Zelda.
Yeah. Okay.
We put them into sheet music and we orchestrate it, and then we put it on the stands of orchestra musicians, and then we just do a concert.
So kind of transcribe for a small orchestra those pieces and reperform them in that way. That's cool. I have a friend in Seattle who does video game covers, and he's got like a progressive metal band, and they do lots of video covers. So I guess I'm familiar with the concept, but now orchestral perspective, that's super cool.
Yeah. Is your friend on YouTube?
I don't think he is. He does some stuff on Facebook and stuff.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember what they're called. I'll look it up.
One thing that I do want to do, and I know we have all these creative pursuits, so like maybe I'll set up a forum or something like that we can post our work or link to our stuff, and then I can maybe share that with the newsletter or put it on Feel Positive or something like that. Because awesome. I get a lot of messages from people like, I do this, and I want to find ways of sharing that with other INFPs for motivation and inspiration and stuff. I'll let you know when I set something up for that.
Sounds
Hey,
Does
good.
Sam,
anyone like? Sorry, you go.
I was saying, I was want to asking David, Michelle, do you have Spotify pages that we can follow?
Yes.
Yeah.
So my artist name for my violin covers is Meowsical. It's VGM. It's wait, hold on. Yeah. It's Meowsical. It's spelled Meowsical.
You
I'm
probably share it
everywhere is
here, in the
yeah. I'll
chat.
put a link in, but I'm Mr. Nice Guy everywhere. I put it in my description there. But I'll put a link to Spotify if you want to check it out.
Jennifer, you were gonna say something, I think. Calling you out.
My personality is like stopping me. No, I was just saying, sounds like everybody's got like a core on what they want to do, but I don't know. I feel like I study something and then I'll just go in a 360 direction. That's kind of just been my life. So I studied visual effects and then I went into like a design kind of job. And then now I'm doing peer support, which is kind of like support work, which is quite different. And now I'm kind of like, oh, I'm not really sure if I really belong into any of them. So I'm like, I don't know. So I'm looking for jobs, but I kind of just look at all jobs instead of like a category because I don't know if I really just fit into like a category. Yeah. Does
there's
anybody
like,
else have that?
I think there's just too many interesting things in the world for one person to explore, and it's like you can see everything that's interesting, and it's yeah, I know what you mean about how difficult it can be.
Yeah. But it's fun. Like I like my job. It's just a bit draining, I think. Like supporting people. Like I can imagine for some of you here, if you're doing psychology, I mean, it's not the same level. It's just support work, but it's can be kind of draining. Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of like, yeah, that the draining aspect of it, you got to make sure you have, boundaries set up for yourself and you take care of yourself emotionally and mentally and physically, spiritually, or whatever, like make sure that you have ways of recharging, ways of, tapping into that introverted feeling in its own way. And, getting on the explorer and doing creative pursuits as well, because sometimes you can just get so focused on like, well, I gotta help people, I gotta go do this thing, and it becomes like diffusing all of your internal energy, right? And it's fine. I think it's something that we do very well. Like you can really tap into somebody else's experience and support, but also you could just got to make sure you care for yourself too. How about anybody else? Like, do you guys have any, I don't know, insights into what has helped you kind of find more of your path, or, what has resonated with you or something like that? Or you just kind of do what I do and study a bunch of stuff and like, ooh, this one feels good too. And just kind of go that way.
I can go. I have lots of life experience doing all that exploration. I'm Manying. I can't remember. I go by months, right, on Discord. I'm still not very used to that. I teach at Polytechnic in Singapore, and let me see. I'll call it. I have this what I call the animus complex of like wanting to find out like a lot of information and just reading a lot and or rather I bought a lot of books. I used to buy a lot of books. I stopped for a while, and then just wanting to find out about everything. explore for like years, decades, right? Yeah. Where do I stop? Boy, I think I started to slow down when I realized, no, this is like an addiction. I not doing anything with the knowledge. I'm just buying stuff, consuming stuff, and not really like doing anything. So I think it got to a point where I realized that, and I thought, okay, I I think I need to do something with them. If not, I have this mountain of dusty books. They're just sitting there not doing anything. Um, I'm not sure if I may be the oldest person here, perhaps. I may not look.
41.
I'm sorry.
I'm 41.
No, I'm older. Yeah.
Okay, good. Cool. Just checking. I figured I'd throw it out
Yeah.
there.
I won't say. Anyway,
Cool.
lived wasted. I mean, part of me thinks that I've wasted my life too much, too long. So yeah, I keep telling Matt that yeah, his system was like the little key that opened the door. Because I couldn't. I was always in a loop of like uh, my extroverted intuition. Yeah. Just want to find out, explore, do everything, But I could never get a handle on like stop, do something. Yeah, so I think it was the finally really like getting in touch with my extroverted thinker and saying, okay, let's let's have some boundaries, let's have some containers and then do something. So it took a while. But I don't know. On the other hand, like everything that we learn is not wasted. Somehow you combine them and find some interesting combinations. I mean, I'm not sure any of you are teachers or you are in a place of coaching people and about careers and all these things, but and we keep having this problem of like what are we teaching students, and in like 5 years, 10 years down the line, the jobs that we are training for, do they exist yet? So it's like, what are we like teaching them outdated stuff? And there's always the race to teach like something relevant. But then what is relevant, right? And especially I think a lot of us, we have multiple interests and we want to do all these things, but there's not one job that you can put it all together. Or if you need we have a job to make it up, or find ways to connect them. So yeah, so I'm not sure, I'm not really answering your question, but I think probably like self-reflection, a lot of that, and then really taking on some risks, right? Like new areas that could be risky, but then you don't know what you could get out of it and learn. I guess it's personal. I mean, I don't know. It's like, how do we like figure out the cycles of exploration, cycles of, okay, I need to do this, then I'm frustrated sometimes, and then sometimes I'm reacting, sometimes I'm okay. So I guess yeah, so exploration is good, but I think at some point, I guess probably taking a stand actually and saying, okay, I need to do something and try it out. Yeah, so it's been a journey. I'm still figuring out. Yeah, I'll stop now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's I think that aspect of endlessly exploring, I think that's always going to be there, right, in some way. It's something I've been realizing a lot lately with studying more Enneagram and stuff like that. I'm an Enneagram 9. If that means anything to you, then good. If not, I guess that's okay. But like I've noticed that I distract myself from deep work by studying more, by exploring more. Yeah. And kind of catching them, like, is this something that I'm just doing because I'm afraid of something, or there's a little anxiety or whatever it is, or procrastination, right, which is coming from anxiety anyway, or is it something that I'm truly interested in, or is it serving a better purpose? Like, what's the benefit under that? But as you said, Man, like also, I mean, kind of like how geek psychology came about was I was interested in video games and RPGs, and then studying personality type and personal growth, and like studying all those different fields let me use them together, right? Like it's broadening your schema so that you can pull from different aspects. I think that's extremely important, and I think it's a skill that introverted sensing and extroverted intuition, like the guardian, the explorer, can do together. Like you explore a lot, then you condense it, and you kind of pull from that to do something else. And getting back onto the commander, to extroverted thinking, and saying, okay, now I got to prioritize this stuff, like a little bit logical prioritization, but make sure it also resonates with what I want to do. And it's this big mix of like just trying to balance it out and figure it out like along the way. And I don't think there is any one specific way, as you mentioned, it's a matter of keeping. And I think that seed, that little idea of like, okay, I'm just going to keep exploring and keep my eyes open for the things that I want. And sometimes you have to kind of go back inward and decide and check your values and say, okay, this is something that I do want. I want to help people. I want to work on creativity. So if I can mesh those together in some way, then that's probably a good path to follow.
Yeah. I guess our values are our compass, right? I mean, back to that, like if something of value, something of interest must mean something to me. I guess checking in and seeing whether that's true. And then I suppose if not, then we do something else maybe. Yeah. I'm working right now. Actually, one of my modules I'm actually teaching with my boss. That's a pressure, but I'm sort of trying to look at it in a more positive way. Like she's not the enemy, but in fact, she knows me enough about my type, even though she's not like she's. I think I don't know her exact type, but she's definitely a J. She's definitely a one of these detail-oriented types, boss types that I would normally shudder and like run away from. But I guess I was taking it as a bit of a challenge to you know what? Okay, fine. I'll do it according to that sort of like TE standards and spell things out more. I mean it got I had to get used to that a little bit more. But I realized that one other thing about that was that whenever there were these people, these types that I didn't like, part of me would brand them as enemy. I would like kind of internally hate them. I think I recently learned how to say, you know what, I think I'm gonna try to love them more and like bring them into my system and just try to do something for them as well, rather than treat them arm's length. And that helped. I think somehow like I say, oh, you know what, I'm gonna do this because I think I want to give her at least a good teaching experience with me, and it benefits me a lot. So okay, I'll do that. So that's my little path right now. It's been quite interesting. Yeah, loving your enemy kind of way. I know that's not easy, but I think that really does help.
Does a lot. Like, I mean, because usually, not always, but a lot of times it's it's a projection of something you don't like within
Oh
yourself.
yeah.
And especially dealing with the boss and corporate America or whatever it is, like that's a lot of pulling on your extroverted thinking commander and introverted sensing guardian. It's just like, yeah, these are kind of weaknesses within me, and I don't like how I perform them, or they kind of fight against what the empath, what introverted feeling wants to do, and the individual and all that stuff. And being able to just say, okay, I'm gonna try to see your perspective. I'm gonna try to accept a little bit of what you're doing and see if I can incorporate that into the system, like you said, a little bit, and build rapport with the inner aspects of yourself and the characters within.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
I think that's one interesting thing that I didn't expect when I got into MBTI. I think not only did it like help me understand myself a lot better, I think it also, when I started trying to type other people, it also kind of helped me understand people who I had conflict with and who I clashed with. And it, it helped me to be able to understand their sort of motivations. And sometimes I would even see people who had like somewhat opposite types, but I'd realize, no, we actually share a cognitive function or something. And then I could sort of, it helped me to sort of understand why they were thinking or acting a certain way. And then it was a lot easier for me to digest and sort of, harmonize with them a little bit. Because I felt like I had like a basis to sort of go off of, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool.
definitely. Yeah, that's been one of the big, one of the big things in my life too. I really got to clear my throat. Hold on. This room's a little dusty and dry. Yeah. Being able to find something, just something that you can like relate to within another person, I think is part of the whole key to open that door of like, okay, I can understand you a little bit, I can relate to you a little bit. Now I can give more of myself to this relationship or whatever it is, or learn something from it. And if you think hard enough, then you can always find something, right? Like maybe it's ISTP and INFP, right? You can still be like, well, we're both introverted judges, so we kind of got this like approach to life, and we both struggle with the extroverted judging aspects of the world or whatever it is, right? Just something to get your foot in the door, so that you can, just kind of open up a little bit more. I think that's awesome.
I was going to say, when dealing with difficult or harsh people, especially at the workplace. So I personally experienced this summer because my job was remote. And so it's harder to communicate with people. And then one of the person from another team was like, have very harsh feedback on me. So I was really out of control when it comes to my emotions. So when I shut the Zoom off, I would just like, I kind of exploded to my friend. So I read about how INFP should learn to regulate their negative emotion, because I personally have a lot of them because of the, for example, all the news all over the world are getting me depressed every single day, or like in the workplace when people misunderstand me, I feel very bad about it. So one thing I learned is, especially if you are benefiting from the privilege of remote working, you should treat some of your colleagues or coworkers you don't like as like video game characters. Just imagine them to be the video game characters, and you'll be feeling better, because when you're playing video games, you will also encounter difficult or people you hate, but you're okay with that when you're playing games. So I think for me, I'm like, if the pandemic continues or like my job is permanently remote, I will practicing that on like how to see them as like virtual characters. But another tip for me to survive is to, so I have a personal notebook for all of my like favorite musicians, or like quotes from the like novels that I read, or like some, I have also documented all of my favorite movies in a database, something like that. So when I'm feeling the world is kind of not aligned with my value, I will look back at my notes, or like listening to some favorite playlist, or like rewatch a film directed by some really, really creative, inspiring director who are not just driven by audience. Then I will see, oh, these people, they exist, and I like them because of some reasons. If they can exist, if they can be successful, creative, and popular, like within their own circles, then I probably can also be like that. I think for INFP, it's really important to get inspired. I think at least for me, I really need inspirations all the time. If I feel like a relationship or like a book or like some, if something is not inspiring me, I'm gonna just keep myself away from it.
George, I have a question. Is yours an updated version of like Envision People Naked? Like this is the video game version. Like, like what do you do with them now? After they're the video game characters, do you shoot them or like be friends with them, give them? Yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't sure.
So I don't know. Actually, I think if I'm in video games, when the when the computer characters
NPCs
tell me
are
something harsh, I feel like so I will rationally analyze this as a computer game character or something like that. So when I experience something very difficult this summer at my job, like they like online articles, they told me to not to take criticism personally because your supervisor or like another person might criticize you not because of you or like your personal integrity, not something like that. Maybe just because they have a bad day or like they are just, or like you are not able to influence them, something like that. So I'm trying to also learn when people criticize me or like they make some false assumptions about myself, about my values. Just like, I don't know, like maybe learn to take it easy, but I know it's hard.
so it gives you like a context to like take a step back. Okay, cool.
That's how I really want to find a job that can have remote working option. I just very curious, like how many of you are having a job that can do remote working right now? Okay.
Split. I'm a little bit
Yeah,
in the office, a little bit home.
Yeah.
Zealand's actually like really good with COVID at the moment. So, I mean, it's great. It's great. But yeah, just no working from home. Like,
yeah.
there's some,
I guess it depends, right, on your job. Yeah, I was forced into doing work from home and teaching from home for a while. It wasn't very good, but then now we are back to face to face. So,
yeah, I can relate to what you said about trying to see the people that you not necessarily don't like, but have issues with at workplaces. Like I had a situation 3 weeks ago where somebody, obviously, I guess, at the time I didn't really try and think of it from their shoes, but now I'm kind of thinking a bit more from their shoes. Maybe they had a bad day and they kind of just let it out on me. But I mean, the first thing I did in that situation was like look for jobs. I was like, I can handle this. And then I'm just, yeah. So I can understand that over time, I'm kind of like, maybe it was just a really bad day and I don't know, but it is really hard to take criticism. And it does feel like a kind of thing on yourself as opposed to your work. So I can understand that.
Yeah, it's all about perspective and what you bring into it. Like anything that happens, yeah, I guess it's kind of like a stoic mindset, but anything that happens is just an experience. It's just a thing, and you attach the meaning to it. And if somebody gives you negative feedback or something like that, just, and I know it's easier said than done, but just saying, okay, that's feedback. It's not failure. It's just something that, maybe I could adapt, maybe I could change, maybe I could tweak, or maybe, as you guys said, maybe they're just having a bad day. Maybe they're not developing themselves too much, or could be a bunch of things, right? And so just taking that step back and either shifting your perspective, imagining that their game characters are, or imagining them naked or whatever it is, like, or just saying whatever, they're doing their own thing. I feel sorry for them. Maybe I feel sorry that they're struggling right now, and just kind of finding a way to flip your mindset into a better serving, more helpful mode, helpful for you, helpful for other people, whatever it is, I think is a lot of the goal, at least for me. That's something I constantly strive to do, and it doesn't always happen. Just the other day is some issue with this big guy. I'll just explain the story. This big like refrigerator kind of like American guy that lives in the same area. I'm always kind of like, I don't know, maybe 20 meters or something behind him on Thursdays when I'm walking to the station, and he just like plows through, like chomping gum, like, and he's got his earbuds in, no mask and all this other stuff. And there's this little ramp that goes up to the train station. Okay. And like, there was an old lady that like was kind of like looking around like she was confused. And she had this little suitcase that she was kind of using to support her weight as well as carry her stuff. And there was another like older man, it could have been her husband, I don't know, that was kind of like standing almost in the middle of the ramp, not quite there, and I kind of like, went rogue mode and dodged and evaded through and got by. And then like, as I was almost at the top of the ramp, I hear like, what did he actually say? He was like, "Hey, watch where you're going." Like, just start swearing at them, like really loud. I'm like, what is this guy doing? Like, and I got upset at him. I didn't say anything. I thought about it. I thought of like, for the rest of the day, I was like, how could I have confronted him? Which I think a lot of us do, right? What would I have said in this situation? But I realized, like, within me, there's that part that gets frustrated quite often at, people blocking the way, or, people bumping into me or whatever it is. And I think by the end of the day, I took it as, somebody's got some dogs. I took it by the end of the day as like, that's possibly an aspect within myself that I don't like. And how can I adjust? How can I change my mindset to work on that? And also, I don't like that guy, and I don't want to be like that. I want to adjust my life and make sure that I'm not in that mode, and then I can control my emotions and things like that. So I guess kind of looking for the positive perspective in whatever the case is, I think is pretty important. But we all know that, right?
Hi guys.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi. Yulia, I just wanted to jump in as well. I had a manager who, in the past, maybe answering some of the questions in your relationship with people who are very different, and she was very different from me. And then I had somebody who was similar maybe to her style of working. And when I worked with that person, it was so easy for me because whenever I asked something, it was done like within 5 minutes. And I just realized how annoying I was for my manager, because that whatever I was asked, I had my own priorities, and it was usually at the very last minute. Whatever I was asked, I did it very last minute, because for me it wasn't a priority. Something else was always more important. And I thought, if I like that time, I understood what actually she wanted from me. That if I had done everything like my my kind of intern, that was an intern actually, who worked with us, and it was amazing how easy my job was when whatever I asked was done straight away. And I thought, okay, that's what my manager actually wanted from me, possibly. And I did work in a very pressured, like in this COVID situation, a very pressured environment where I knew that, okay, whatever my director asks from me, that is the priority. It doesn't matter what I'm doing at the moment. And it did make his life easier, and made my life easier. So I think understanding how people work as well, it is very helpful to to streamline the relationships at work. And that way, it also gave me more time to work on what I thought was important. Maybe not at the time when I wanted to work on it, but I think that kind of taught me that experience that sometimes maybe to what I should have done in the past is to look at the situation and see how what kind of job is required from me to my superiors, because we are at the end of the day one company, we're working for one slaves or no slaves. Right, we are a team in that situation. So I think that's the kind of lesson that my intern taught me, the way she worked with me. So I don't know if it's useful to you guys, but you could try as well to see what would work for you in a situation if you were in that position, and maybe try and do it that way and see if the relationship improves, if your workload maybe is not as daunting. But yeah. Thanks for allowing me to share.
Thank you. Yeah. Coming back to that, taking on another perspective, seeing what the other person wants and needs, and knowing that it's not all about you all the time. It's a hard lesson. It's a good lesson though. But yeah. And as you said, your position is your position, and you kind of got to do that job, whatever it is. You can fight it internally all you want, but if you're making money for doing a job, then you're making money for doing a job, so you got to do the job. You can fight it internally, or in little ways, little passive aggressive ways, I guess. Anybody else? Oh, yep. Go on.
So now I'm still a student, even though I'm in my final year. I wonder when you are in your like early 20, did you struggle with like wanting to just wanting to just accumulate wealth super quickly, so when you have enough money, you don't need to deal with work, you can just pursue anything that you want, like creativity or like helping professions, something like that? Did you struggle with like, maybe I should just get a highly paid job instead, even though it's like boring as fuck?
Wow. That's a
I relate to that. I mean, I'm like I said, I'm 41. I've had several careers already, and I'm trying to change it and do a different one. I've never lost that sense of like, oh man, if I could just square all this money away, then I could do the things that I love doing or would feel passionate about. Like I was journaling about this the other day, and I'm just like, man, if I had, money was taken care of and the data stuff, I would love to just volunteer and help people, and like that's how I would live my life. And I realized unless I catch lightning in a bottle or something like that, I'm probably not going to become rich overnight. And rather than just like pursue that, I'm trying to, and I'm kind of late in the game, not late in the game, but like I'm 40, it's never too late to just start building that life that I want now. I'm always going to need some money. Unfortunately, I haven't figured out the solution to that. If I do, I'll let you know. So I'm always like, okay, I need to have a little bit of money coming in, but like accruing wealth or anything like that, I've started to let go of that dream, just so that I'm like, that's not actually my dream. My dream isn't to be rich or have enormous amounts of wealth. My dream is to have the freedom to do the things that I want to do. So I'm just going to go that direction. Forget the wealth. How to do that? I'm not going to say I've got that all figured out, but at least I'm starting to explore it. So I don't know. Anybody else?
Is it INFPs and money in the issue? You know, like we don't know quite how to be wise with it, right? Maybe
100%.
is that the root problem for us? I think like no long term plans or investment wisdom. I guess we need to um, learn more about that. I don't know, Matt. I mean, do you have any like INFP and money tips for how to invest for INFPs?
Tips, I don't know, but you know, based on experience, I mean, I used to live with an ENFP and an ESFP, and before that, an ESTJ. We were all, you know, friends, and we all, you know, kind of lived together at the same time, kind of room share. Um, let's see, the ESFP, the ENFP, and myself always went to the ESTJ at the end of the month when we didn't have money, and we're like, can you spot us a little bit, because you know we don't really we went out clubbing too much, or we bought some new technology or something like that, and it was just like every time he was like, how do you not have money every time? And it's that, you know, low extroverted thinking, like not knowing, not putting the energy into managing finances as much. And I know, Michelle, I think you can talk quite a bit about this, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, just my experience, yeah, it's just like I got all these things I want to buy and do, and bills I don't want to even pay those, and taxes, and then but this thing I want, so I'm gonna go spend my money on this. I don't know.
The shiny toys, yeah.
Well, when I was in my early 20s, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I feel like I was lost for a long time, and I tried a lot of different stuff. Like I tried teaching English, I tried this and that, but nothing ever really felt right to me. But I always had my passion for my video game orchestra, and I think it wasn't until I was like later in my 20s where I thought, oh my God, I don't have any money. I need to get a job that makes money. So that's why I chose to do accounting. And I made pretty decent money, but the problem was I always felt there was a like this internal what's the word? It's like I was unhappy on the inside. I felt like I was always fighting myself doing extroverted thinking all day long, and I sometimes had to work like 55 to like 70 hours a week, and it's not the best position if you're an INFP to do that. Um, I will say that it's it's always benefits you if you learn about money, like taxes and how to do your own budgeting and things like that. I think there's like an online community. It's called FIRE, FIRE, talks about financial independence. And I think they have like something on like Reddit and some other places. Um, but if you go look on like personal finance on Reddit, I think there are there are like some threads in there about because like a lot of people talk about how they want to retire early. And but just to give another example, I have a friend, he just I think turned 40. But he actually has been doing like entertainment, music, stuff like that in the past 20 years. And now he's coasting on music royalties. He was making like a little bit less than what I was making at my accounting job, except for him, if like unlike me where I lost my job, he doesn't just lose his job. He has like multiple streams of income, and so like he's just chilling. He's just like doing YouTube full time, and he's still like having this really fun life and stuff like that. So there's a lot of, I would say, if you don't know anything about it, uh, try to look for YouTube videos on it. Do a little bit of research. Um, I don't think you need to look into like very academic heavy books or anything like that. I think it would be too like don't try to look into an accounting textbook. It's going to be too dense. So, there's this one book that I think was pretty good, but I think it's only applicable for US based people. I'm trying to think of the name. It's like Taxes Made Simple, something like that. So there's like resources out there.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh yeah, everyone should read. Actually haven't read it yet, but everyone should read Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Well, you got to apply the stuff though. Yeah, I mean, it's a great read.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay,
Cool,
that's
thank
it for
you.
me.
I just feel like school have never teach you anything about financial health at all. And my theory is like they designed this intentionally so that some of
Yeah.
us will be poor.
Actually, you're right though.
That's
The
actually
whole school system is industrial age, or, based on that. So wage slaves, exactly that, and it's not about freedom. The ones who truly got anything out of it were the princes and kings and all that. It was supposed to be for the elite, right? And then everything else. So yep.
Well, one aspect of like I looking forward to have a highly paid job is because like when I have a great paycheck, I probably will spend like maybe 1/3 of them on like music classes, like master class, or like vocal coaching. Then another half on like traveling. Then the third would be on environment, because like my personal environment, not like Earth or so I think for me, maybe some of you are also highly sensitive. What is that? Highly sensitive types, like very sensitive to sound, light, or like something else. So for me, I can't have roommates. I mean, I love to be friends with people in the same building, but I don't want to have roommate, or like I want a neighborhood that's very quiet. No ambulance sound. So when I move out of New York City, I feel so good. I remember in Manhattan, I will hear like 10 or 20 times per day the ambulance sound. I think, yeah, so I think when I get enough money, I will spend all of them on really interesting stuff. I have no interest in like luxury good or anything that's like materialistic. I don't really interest in those stuff, but I really want to spend money on learning, getting inspired.
Yeah, I think just trying to also keep a little bit as like a, just in case, not spend it all on all that stuff is something that I wish I did more of when I was younger. Just, you have your fun money, your study money, your living money, and then like just in case money that you don't really touch. Yeah. I had something else. I don't remember what it was, but it's kind of balancing that, I think, is one of the things that I wish I'd put more attention to when I was younger.
Can I also
think-
say I feel sorry. I feel extremely comfortable keeping in silence in this Zoom. Like I don't feel awkward if nobody's
Yeah.
speaking. But in other events, I just feel like, oh, somebody has to be speaking all the time.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I think I can only recall in the last 8 years knowing two other INFPs. My best friend is an INTP. Another really good friend of mine is an INTJ. And I know a few INF types, but I mean, it's interesting because, I think, like Matt said, we all have similar experiences, but it's also really different. And it's just cool seeing how different people with the same sort of mentality that I have, or, the same sort of, who think the same ways that I do, how they're going about their life. So I think it's really cool.
Just maybe to say something as well. I think for us it's important to make decision once you make a decision. Once I found that if I make a decision, then I could be as frugal as is necessary. If I don't, then it doesn't matter how much money you earn, I just spent everything. And there was a time in my life when I didn't even, I was so bad. I didn't want to know how much I earned because I was terrified of how much I spent. So I think it's important to keep an eye on your finances and just to make a decision of what you just said. Okay, 1/3 on this, 1/3 on that, 1/3 on that part, and then stick with it. I also think, like when I was in my 20s, every year seemed like a long time, and like every decision seemed like a very important one. And if I could turn the time back, I would grab at every experience I had, and I wouldn't be scared to spend 1 year on something. It's just somewhere I heard in perspective that you look at the time, comparing it to at a period of time, comparing to what you have lived so far. So if somebody has lived 17 years, 1 year seems like a long period of time. If somebody who's lived 50 years in comparison to their period of life, that 1 year is not that significant. Again, it's something that I wish I had thought of when I was in my 20s. And then I could experiment more and I could maybe grab opportunities, different opportunities, and not being scared of like missing a year or missing half a year and just, okay, the time is going so fast. I need to do this now because like you have to have a job, you have to have a career. And at the same time, I think, George, you're hesitant at going into the high paid job. It's not, you can't do that for a year. You can try it for a year or 2 years. And I'm sure that also you will get a lot of skills if you do that job. But you can change, and especially before you're 30, you can change your career several times, I suppose. So I would not be, I think I would be brave if I were you. No.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. In my own personal experience, like my daughter's 3, and kind of what you were saying, Yulia, like every day for her is a huge percentage of her life that she's lived. And now I'm 36, and it doesn't, it doesn't feel the same. Like my days kind of blend together, and this year has gone by so fast, right? But like for her, it's a different reality. And having that perspective, I think I definitely would have taken more chances, done more things. I think I did push myself to do that stuff, but I would have had an even bigger, drive to do that. And as you said, like you can do it for a year, get some experience, see what it's like, see what resonates with you, what doesn't resonate with you, and then adjust from there. But I think the biggest trap is to be like, well, I don't know what I want to do, so I'm gonna think about it more, and I'm gonna figure it out internally instead of just throwing yourself into the wild and learning how to adapt and learning way quicker, what is important, what you like, what you don't like. Because you can do thought experiments or feeling experiments, as long as you want. But when you actually do it, sometimes you find out like, wow, that I actually kind of like that. I actually like speaking in front of crowds of people or whatever. And I never would have thought that, you don't know until you do it. So definitely following Yulia's advice on that, I think, is a good idea.
I think Thomas was saying something about, if I'm getting it right, like that one unchanging perfect thing, the need for perfection, that I can only commit perhaps to that perfect thing that would probably never come. so I think maybe that's the trap, right? And I fell into that for a while. What's that thing? It doesn't feel right. What is? I commit to that. That's something that comes later, but that would never come, and then I never do anything. And then, but my job forces me to like finish and get things done. No, that are not perfect, and that helped force me to like embrace like just do something and then get out of the way. But that's hard. That's still hard to do. So I guess you're right, Matt. Just try new things. Well, I guess some of it will suck. Some of it will waste our time. But I guess you never know, right? You'll find something unexpected. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's a perfect anything. You know, it's just this is a little bit better. This is a lot better, you know, but once again, you don't know until you do it, until you try it. I know the trap though. I mean, definitely, even within my own stuff, like I'm just constantly like, wow, there's got to be a better way of saying this, or a better approach to doing this, a better model, a better way of looking at it. Let me just think about it more. But I know every time I just do the thing, when I do the thing, then I get way more feedback and I learn way more about myself and how the world works and all that stuff. It's just, there's that struggle, you know, like I just want to stay in my comfort zone, you know, in my shell and not do the thing. But that's how you grow. Probably gotta stop soon. If my daughter's awake, she got sick last night.
Oh no.
And cousin came over and brought a present for us, I suppose. Yeah, but if anybody's got, you know, any last things, anything you want to talk about, or I see you got a question.
Yeah.
Can people only have one MBTI personality type? That's the model. If you buy into the model of Myers-Briggs and cognitive functions personality type, then yeah, you got one. I know a lot of people, I see comments all the time like, I was an INTP and now I'm an INFP. And if you buy into the model, then that doesn't happen. You're pulling on different aspects of yourself, or the environment is pulling on different aspects, or, you know, you're maturing or devolving, I don't know, whatever the other word. And you're in grip or in loop or something like that. And these different aspects are coming out stronger and you're paying more attention to them. And so, yeah, you don't change types, but we all use all 8 of the cognitive functions. You have to. And you need to have, those are like basic things that people need to do, humans need to do to live. But it's just a matter of which do you put more importance on, and which have you specialized more in. And by the task of focusing on something, by focusing your attention on something, that means you're naturally not focusing on the other thing, the thing behind you, right? If you're looking at introverted feeling, and this is how you're guiding your life, that means you can't do extroverted thinking stuff all the time because your attention's over here. It's like shining a flashlight, you know, you're creating the shadows as well as illuminating the thing that you're focusing on. And so it's just pulling on different aspects of yourself, and you can't change type if you buy into the model, but it's all just a model. You know, it's not a real thing. It's just a representation of patterns of reality. You know, it's like, you know, the common example that they use in neurolinguistic programming is like, you go to a restaurant, you look at the menu, you use the menu to order the hamburger, right? And then the hamburger comes. Right? You don't you don't try to eat the hamburger on the menu, right? You don't get upset or you know, complain like, well, the size is different. Well, yeah, it is different because the map is not the territory, right? There, you have to adjust it and look at it in different ways and minimize and generalize or, you know, expand different aspects. So, but I feel it's personally like a really good approach to understanding yourself, you know, and the purpose of a model is its usefulness, right? Like, so if it helps, if it's useful, I say keep at it, you know, and you know, people will complain within, it's not scientific, or, you know, there are all these other things. And to me, it's like, well, help me. So that's why I share it with other people. I know that's kind of like a little rambly path, but I hope it helped you.
Will we have more Zooms like this?
Yeah, that's the goal. I can do it once a month. I'm thinking like the last, for me, it's Sunday morning. So every month. Maybe the Patreon one is also kind of at the end of the month, and so kind of balancing both of those. But that's the goal. Yeah, I'm a little hesitant about, you know, sending the email out to everybody and then me having something come up and me not be able to show up and, you know, all that stuff. But that's the goal. I would like to do it, and I'd like to, you know, put these on YouTube if you guys are okay with that.
Sure.
I know I didn't, you know, specify beforehand. I don't know if we got like the Brady Bunch capture or if it's speaker mode, but
Oh, right.
yeah. You know, just to kind of share with other INFPs, you know, like, and give other people who are not INFPs a glimpse into like what we think about, what we talk about, and what it's like to have a bunch of us in the same room.
Where a little silence is a-okay.
It's fine.
Is there already like a Facebook group or like a online community where we can share stuff that we're interested in, or like something we found inspiring, music or something like that? Is there like a community page?
The closest thing I have to that right now is the Discord chat server. So if you're on there, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's pretty quiet, but it's a bunch of INFPs. But other times, you know, there's a lot of conversation and people helping out and like, hey, I'm struggling with this thing. What can I do? You know, I think that's really nice. Or, you know, there are categories for interests and sharing art, sharing, you know, what's inspiring to you and quotes and stuff. So that's there. I do have, you know, I have thoughts and plans and stuff for expanding it and doing more stuff, but you know, busy. So yeah, if you're not there, check it out, share. I don't post as much as, you know, I would like to, but I do kind of, I skim it and check in.
Hey Matt, Anna has a question about finding the chat, the Discord chat.
Okay, I see it. It should be, if you got an email, like when you sign up for the newsletter from inowfeelpositive.com, it should be within there. If not, I can send a link to it here in the chat if I can figure out where it is. Unless somebody else did. I think I got it. Oops, I wrote that specifically to someone else. Sorry. Okay, so I think if you click on that, it should go to the announcements channel within the Discord. But cool. Anything else? Anybody? I know INFPs can we can extend conversations forever by just like, okay, you got anything else? Oh, and by the way, you know, just kind of. But
Yeah, thanks for putting this together, Matt.
of course, it
I
was
look forward
great.
to seeing you and everybody else again soon.
Yeah, thanks for showing up.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, guys. Be safe. Have a good day, night, week,
Thank you.
month, and I'll see you next time. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
I want to take a.
Bye.
Everybody,
Bye,
we can
guys.
wave, and I'll take a
Okay.
picture. We got one. All right. Gotcha. All right.
Ta-ta. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Goodbye,
See ya.
everyone.
Later.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.